Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Expanded Guide. Today, Travis and I are going to be talking about Rita Young, the athlete. Because she's a survivor, I'll talk about her character card. I think it's only fair.
But you hate Rita.
I actually don't anymore. I actually don't. I think she's okay. I don't think she's garbage anymore, but I think she's okay.
Where in the Discord is.
Yeah, I know. Well, the Discord, they don't move on. They don't move on from... You say one thing, and they're like, get married to it.
Yeah, they say first impressions are the most important.
It's true. That's why people think I still love Pete Sylvester, but I actually haven't played Pete Sylvester. I can't even remember it.
It's been a
Probably
while.
before the pandemic. It's been a long time.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Actually, no. It was the Daniela deck before Pandemic V2, the sequel.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, let's talk about Rita Young. She has 3 brain, 2 book, 3 fist, 5 foot, so you know she's gonna be good. Her reaction is after you evade an enemy, either deal 1 damage to that enemy or move to a connecting location, limit once per round. Her Elder Sign effect is +2 until the end of the round. Ignore the limit on the above reaction ability. So realistically, her Elder Sign is just +2. Her deck building size is 30, survival cards 0 to 5, neutral 0 to 5, and trick 0 to 3. She also has these 2 signature cards, one of which is I'm Done Running, a 0-cost event that commits for an overpower or a manual dexterity. It's fast, play only during your turn, ready and engage all enemies at your location. For the remainder of your turn, whenever you evade an enemy, instead of exhausting and disengaging that enemy, you may deal it 1 damage.
Why doesn't Rita get 3 of these?
Yeah, honestly, 3 of them would make them yeah.
It'd be something you could actually play around and kind of rely on.
Yeah, because how it is right now, most of the time, this is just committed to a test.
Yeah, you draw,
Yeah, I'm going to commit this to a test. And then, because her signature was so powerful, they gave her an absolute, FU of a weakness. So this is Hoods. Yeah. 3 attack, 3 evade, and 3 health. It's alert and hunter, and after you evade it, it attacks you.
Why not, man?
So, the only way that Rita can, solve problems without, committing a bunch of cards to it, she has to get damaged by this thing. So, when you're playing Rita...
You could just kill it.
You could just kill it. It's true. But it is, also, not easy to kill, too, for a signature.
Yeah.
It's not hard, but it's not, if you compare this to Will Yorick's Graveyard Ghouls, it's kind of actually comical.
It is comical. Yeah. I think they intended for Graveyard Ghouls to, not let you get stuff back off of it.
It definitely shouldn't have. It definitely should not let you.
Yeah.
However, so just one thing, just to keep in mind when you're playing Rita, never, draw as your last action. If you haven't seen the Hoods yet, it's probably just not worth it.
Yeah, unless you're taking, taking a heart and a brain, but...
Yeah. But even then, it's just, I think there's a lot of ways that you can, work with Rita. And we're going to have a bunch of cards that are going to help showcase this. She got a lot of nice things in the trick category from the Winifred deck and then some of the recent expansions.
Yep.
And there's a lot of cool things. Her strength, as you can see, is she has strong defensive stats. 5 foot is a good number. What also is one of those things, too, is that, enemies, boss enemies, they're nice to evade, right? And just having the ability to do that consistently is very powerful. She has 3 brain, so she'll survive a good chunk of the Mythos cards, which is good because, as you can see from her weaknesses, she has low sanity. So you are going to be wanting to pass those the things that stand in front of you and make it kind of a nightmare, like a Rotting Remains and something like that.
Yeah, so, in spite of our hesitancy and our initial review of Rita, she's definitely not a bad investigator. You just have to play her in, the non-obvious way. She's not an investigator who wants to sit there and evade enemies forever. That doesn't do enough. She does function quite well as, sort of an offhand fighter.
Yep.
Where you can, evade an enemy and chip them for 1, and then, hit them while they're down.
Yeah.
And you don't have to worry about retaliate or missing and hitting a fellow investigator because you only have 3 punch. But she does get access to some decent cards to mitigate that.
Yeah, she's also, with that, too, really good at flexing as well. Because she can take things like Pilfer and Breaking and Entering, which work really well with her stat line and her ability. And then also, as Travis says, you can just be like, hey, don't worry about it. I'll just get rid of this enemy for this round, right?
Yeah, she's very good at solving the problems that aren't worth other investigators' time.
But yeah, as Travis said as well, don't do what we did the first time, what I did. But you didn't stop me, and I trust you. Back then, I was, I wasn't
I was busy trying to figure out how to play my own character.
Yeah. Ooh, I don't even remember who that was.
I also don't remember.
Maybe, I don't even... Who came out in that? Was that Carolyn?
I think so.
No, she might be Dream Eaters. I know everyone watching this YouTube is like, why aren't you talking about Rita? Well, Rita talks about herself. She, like, just sums it up perfectly. It was... This is not in order.
No.
Carolyn. It was Carolyn.
It was Carolyn, and Preston was in it. Bryn played Preston, I think,
no.
right?
Probably. He was a green character.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, Rita is... I actually enjoy playing her now. I've played her twice recently.
I played Joe the first time.
Okay, yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one. The first time, that one, the Joe decks didn't work out either.
Yeah, no, that was also not great.
All right, Travis, I'll throw you these core set cards.
Yeah,
oh my
sure.
God, I have to see the time up there. I got it. I have great eyes.
Cool, we got a baseball bat. This is like Rita's... It's actually a pretty solid weapon for Rita, as far as level 0 weapons go. Unless you're leaning into a gimmick like Fire Axe or Meat Cleaver, like we'll talk about later. Baseball bat pushes her punch up to a pretty reasonable 5. Gives you the extra damage, and yeah, you have to throw away if you reveal a skull or a tentacle. But you don't want Rita to be your end-all be-all fighter who can fight things at the drop of a hat anyway. And you have plenty of options such as Resourceful and Scrounge for Supplies that you're probably going to be playing anyway to help recycle your baseball bat. We got some Rabbit's Foot here. This is just a nice generic accessory for Rita. A lot of the good trick cards she gets to play are events, and she gets access to some very solid skills as well. And this can help keep your hand full of those. So we have Stray Cat. Stray Cat lets you automatically evade an enemy at your location. It's just like fine. You can definitely play like some
Russ?
We're recording.
Rust 2.
Yeah, he's here.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay, I just want to make sure he's not there.
Yeah.
I want an on-topic video.
Yeah. I mean, in all fairness, if you're here for the Rita Expanded Guide, this is kind of like what playing Rita's like. You got to just constantly be adapting and improvising to what's thrown your way.
Yeah, Stray Cat's like nice for some of those. There's some like alert enemies that maybe you don't want to risk trying to evade and failing, even though you've got 5. You're probably gonna be investing too much into it. But we got Dig Deep here. This is a nice resource sink if you want to play sort of a Dark Horse build for her. It is generally the best of these level 0 talents, I think, because it boosts both of your defensive stats. Boosting your foot for an evasion test, or it's spending resources to increase your brain is very reasonable for Rita. We have Cunning Distraction, which commits for guts as always, and then lets you evade all the enemies at your location. It's worth noting that evades such as Stray Cat and Cunning Distraction both trigger Rita's ability.
Yeah, so what you do is you get the Elder Sign,
God.
and then you have all the enemies with you, and then you just deal 1 damage to each, and then you're like, I spent 5 resources for that. Yeah, you only have 1 damage to 2 enemies.
We got Lucky, which helps mitigate your garbage fisted book.
Yeah.
It's just good cards and the Survivor
Staples,
yes,
yeah.
thank you. We got Survival Instinct, which is actually like a chef's kiss card for Rita. This card is really good. And we don't play it nearly enough because we don't play Rita. Or High-Foot Investigators, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when the skill set is successful during invasion attempt, you can immediately disengage from each of your enemy, engage with you, and move to a connecting location. Something this card is very strong against, or very strong in the situation where, like, if you're a High-Foot Investigator, sometimes you'll end up in a situation where the group is starting to fall behind in tempo, and your job is, like, I spend all 3 actions evading enemies. And then you just kind of get locked into that. This card lets you break out of that lock.
Yes, yeah. Yeah. Of note as well, Rita is actually also kind of good at breaking out of that lock herself, because you can also move away from a location after you do it. Like, you don't need to ping the enemies each time. Well, like, you can do it once. Like, but you can choose if you're in this lock that Travis is talking about, which does happen in certain campaigns, you can move out.
Only on the last one.
Only on the last one, yeah.
The Survival Instinct lets you do on the first action, disengage from the rest, and then, like, have the rest of your turn.
It's much better for pulling you out of that, but you also can do it with Rita herself.
Yeah, then we have Emergency Cash, because Survivor Economy is trash.
All right.
Like, literally, they pull it out of the trash.
It is. It's literally, they love their garbage. We have the skills. We have Guts, Overpower, Manual Decks. They commit for Brain, Fist, and Foot, which are the stats you're probably going to be using more often than anything else. Yeah. Yeah, you can use your book in the Survivor way. Like, you could run, look what I found.
Oh, yeah, that's totally fine. But like...
yeah, you're not using it to actively... I mean, even, like, a one of Old Keyring can also do things, but it's also, like, not... This is a notable cards for this person, but, like, I wouldn't call that, like, notable. That's something you can do, though.
Yeah, it's an option, but it's not...
Yeah, sometimes people ask in the comments, too, like, when it comes to deciding cards for this, it's, like... kind of just the catch-all cards, because there's other things you can do that require like explicit build-arounds, but that's not really what this series is about.
Yeah,
and that's
I mean, like, technically you could put Grit Your Teeth in your Rita deck, but why would you?
Yeah.
Right. So we're not going to talk about it.
Yeah. Unexpected Courage is another one of the skills. Just commits for wilds. Doesn't replace itself when it's drawn, but still good. Close Call. This is a 2-cost event. You can, after a non-weak weakness, not only enemy, your location is evaded, you can shuffle that enemy into the encounter deck.
This can be very nice for some enemies. Something like the poster child of hard to kill enemies, like Mindless Dancer.
Yes.
Which don't actually... Like, there's something you have to deal with anyway, but then you don't have to, like, spend all the actions to kill them, and then they're kind of a dead draw later.
Yes.
As well.
Yeah. Yeah, basically anything that you just, like, don't want to...
Yeah, like, enemies, especially in the racing scenarios, can be, like, dead Mythos draws for Rita, where you can just evade them and then move to connecting location, and it's like, you didn't have to spend action evading them.
Yeah. We have Upgraded Lucky level 2, just more of a good thing. It's in our Staples video. Will to Survive is another one of the best Survivor cards we don't play. Just a 4-cost 3 experience. Until the end of your turn, do not reveal Chaos tokens for any skill tests you perform.
Very strong with certain Survivor weapons that care about which tokens you drew. Like Baseball Bat and the old hunting rifle, where you can just dump damage into something.
Yeah. I'm also pretty sure as well that Ace in the Hole is a trick.
Yeah,
which gives you 3 additional actions.
Very strong.
We're really strong with this.
That's like 12 experience in your deck. But...
Yeah. But you know, some campaigns give XP out like candy. Yeah. Then we got Elder Sign, and people also, I'll also just say, people always ask, why do you include Elder Sign here? Because it's like notably not a great card.
5 brain.
Yeah, 5 brain. And then also because, like, we have other options for Brain Soak, but we talk about the cycles independently from one another, assuming that the other one doesn't exist in this.
Yeah,
so,
we do try to highlight especially core set options, because it's something everyone will have.
Yes, yeah. All right, can I read that number? I think I can. Travis, what's Dunwich going on?
A lot of really good cards, actually. We got Fire Axe, which is our first sort of archetypal weapon for Rita. This one is part of the Dark Horse archetype, which I might as well talk about at the same time. They care about you not having any resources, which doesn't pair well with the trick side of Rita, but plays very well into sort of the skill oriented archetypes that survivors tend to have. The Fire Axe lets you fight, and if you have no resources, the attack deals +1 damage, and as a lightning bolt during an attack using it, you can spend a resource to get +2 punch for this test, limit 3 times per attack. Being able to put 2 resources into this is very nice for Rita. As improving your punch is quite important for her.
Yeah.
And then we have Dark Horse, which is limit 1 per investigator, and during the upkeep phase, you may choose not to gain resources. While you have no resources, you get +1 to all your stats, which puts Rita to like a very, very strong stat line, actually.
Stat line,
like
yeah.
4 brain, 3 brook, 4 punch, and 6 foot. You're never failing a foot test in Mythos phase. You are like gonna naked pass a reasonable amount of brain tests, and you can fight like an actual fighter.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got Peter Sylvester back at the top here. He is our level 0 in ally. He is sort of like the default for Rita, I would say.
Yeah.
All reliable. Gives you +1 foot, and when your turn ends, you heal a horror from him. +1 foot, that's a stat you intend to use. And the horror soak is important to mitigate Rita's 5 brain.
Yeah.
Also going to jump down to the bottom of the slide, talk about level 2 while we're here. It gives you +1 brain, he can take an extra horror. Like, also very, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, this slide just has like a deck for Rita.
It really actually does.
You got your Dark Horse and your Fire Axe in play, and your Peter Sylvester in play, and you're just rolling around.
Yeah.
You got 7 foot, 5 brain.
You use your flare to deal with the enemies that you just want to like. You know,
Find Peter.
Or find Peter. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we got Bait and Switch up here. This one is pretty niche trick for Rita. It's an evade, and if you succeed, the enemy is non-elite. You can evade the enemy and move it to a connecting location. This allows you to put a huge amount of distance between you and an enemy. Or you can do some neat stuff like kick them back to your fighter.
Yep.
So they can smash them with an upgrade sledgehammer or something like that.
Yeah. Because for people who watch this, they might not know that Travis tries to get every card in one of these videos at least once. Was this like a gold mine? You were like, there's so many cards that I could put in Rita and never have to worry about
so
again.
many garbage red evade cards.
Yeah.
Because like the red investigators who can play green cards, which are traditionally the high foot investigators, are like Preston and Bob.
Yeah.
And that's
it. Yeah.
They're not good at that. Oh yeah, we got I'm Out of Here, which is a 0 cost trick. This is another solid card for Rita. Commits for 2 foot and allows you to just resign.
Yep.
Not a card that you're like gonna include in every Rita deck. It's a little bit campaign dependent, but it is very
good when it's good.
Nice 1 of 2.
And also worst case, it's just a manual decks.
Yep. Then skipping ahead, we got the Flare. This card again, very strong survivor card in general. Lets you attack at +3 and deal +2 damage. Very nice for just crunching a 3 health enemy that your fighter doesn't have the actions to deal with or whatever. Alternatively, you can search top 9 cards with any Investigator's deck for an ally and put in play under your control, then exile the Flare. So the downside to this one is the exile mechanic where you have to pay an experience every time, and that's honestly not a huge deal, especially if you're looking at playing like a Dark Horse build that like caps out an experience relatively early.
Or you're just a survivor.
Yeah, you're not leaning into the green tricks so much.
Yeah.
Being able to kill an enemy with an event like this, or being able to dig out your Pete Sylvester, is a very good place to be.
Yeah.
We got Relic Hunter. It's just a nice option, especially if you take some brain trauma early and you do want to run those Elder Sign amulets or later the Precious Mementos, and in addition to something else.
Hell yeah. We got Charisma, keeping this going. Another one of our staples in the neutrals down in the description. Just if you want to run an additional ally, if you don't want to just do Pete Sylvester and you want someone else, this is a way that you can do that.
Hey, maybe she's not in the video, but maybe she's an okay option for like Aqua.
Yeah,
it's a lot of brain soak.
It's a lot of brain soak. I mean, even like Granny Orn, also really nice. Yeah. But then again, also to that note, anytime you can be like, maybe Aquana's good here, it's a good day for Arkham. Yeah.
All 2 of them.
Yeah. We have Scrapper. This is a permanent. You can spend a resource to get +1 fist and +1 foot. Like, those are stats you're going to be using quite commonly. It's a nice option for that.
Yeah, man. If you have Dunwich expansion, you like just have a Rita deck.
Yeah, you really do. Yeah. So next time we do a limited deck building video, let's do Rita, Dunwich,
and Circle.
Yeah. Survival Instinct, if this test is successful, it's basically the upgraded version of the other one.
It's literally the upgraded version of the other one.
Yeah. The evading investigator may immediately evade each other enemy, engage with him or her, and may move to a connecting location. Just more of the good thing that Travis talked about with this card earlier.
This one's actually significantly better in that it gives you the 2nd foot, but also the other one just disengages you. So if there's other investigators at your location, they have to deal with them. But this one just lets you evade all of them, which is nuts. And you can just pick the garbage one to evade too.
Yes, which is really nice. Yeah.
You can evade. Oh no, it has to be engaged with you. Yeah, okay. I was gonna say you can evade each other one. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, so like that's we're actually gonna like this one too, like the Survival Instinct and Expeditious Retreat. They're 2 very good evade cards.
Yes.
And they each actually fill in different holes. So remember that one when we come to that one during Dream Eaters. Then we have Ace in the Hole. Trick. Exceptional. Fast. You may take 3 additional actions this turn.
Yeah, not a card you build around, but if you happen to have 6 experience laying around, this is a great way to spend it.
So I'm going off tangent again, but this is the whenever Bryn and I do one of these without you, this is what happens. We just like talk about things.
Okay.
But someone pointed me back to an old video, and I was like, "What happened to this Justin who built like jank cool decks?" But my first Preston deck was a red gloved man Fire Axe Ace in the Hole deck. And I took like 1,000,000 actions and like just killed like 3 enemies with my Fire Axe. It was wild.
Huh.
And I was like, what? Now I'm just like Efficiency, go! It's wild. Anyway, we got Stroke of Luck. This is a two experience skill. After revealing Chaos tokens for this test, you may choose to exile Stroke of Luck. If you do, this test is automatically successful unless an autofill token was revealed. Basically just like, if you want to really pass a test, apart from one token, this allows you to do that.
Yeah, this can be pretty handy, again, like for those fighting moments where you can't rely on your punch.
Yeah.
It's a nice way to mitigate that.
Yeah. We're going to try again. This is after a skill test has failed. If a skill card you own is committed to that test, you can exhaust it to return that skill card to your hand.
And normally we think this card is like pretty meh. But I think this card actually is pretty solid in Rita if you want to go down a route where you're playing like Sharp Vision and Brute Force to recycle them on the off chance that you do fail.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Alrighty, we are on to Path to Carcosa.
It does also do a neat thing with Stroke of Luck where you can pull it back if you draw the autofill.
Yes. Yeah. You're like, no, thank you. I'll do that again. Mine was pretty short, so I'll just keep going into Carcosa here. We have Sleight of Hand. This allows you to put an item asset from your hand into play. At the end of your turn, if that asset is still in play, return it to your hand. I couldn't think of a case while I was doing this. Like, what did you put Sleight of Hand here for? Like, what were you thinking?
Oh, like printed version of Sleight of Hand. You can put you can put the old hunting rifle in the play and just blast something and pick it up.
I mean, realistically, even just like doing like a really weird Rita where you're just like you like hold even just a Derringer back, like a flex Rita, and then you can just be like pow pow pow, bring it back, and then play it for real. There's those cases as well. Gravedigger Shovel, you get +2 fists for this attack, but you can also discard it to discover one clue at your location. Yeah, it's once
it's
again
just an off thing for
yeah. And when you use a card like Resourceful, you could bring it back and other things with it as well. And then Resourceful is just a staple, really good card. There are much better options than Gravedigger Shovel. I'll be completely honest with you.
If you do that,
but you reasonably could. We have Cherished Keepsake. This gives you more Brain Soak, which is a good thing.
Yep.
Yeah. Cheap Shot, it's a trick. You get a fight and you get to add your foot value to your skill value for this attack. If you succeed by 2 or more, automatically evade the attacked enemy.
Oh my god, it's like a Nathaniel Cho card.
Yeah. This card's like good in Rita.
Yes, you get to fight at 8 and then deal 2 damage because you probably succeeded by 2 or more.
It is, it's
and evade the guy.
Yeah.
The second damage comes from her ability if you guys aren't following that.
Yeah.
But
that's what he meant by Nathaniel Cho. Yeah. Madame Lebranche, she is just a 2-cost, 2/2 soak, but she also, if you have no cards in hand, can give you a card. If you have no resources, you can gain a resource. Really good in Dark Horse, but also just like a really good ally, because it's like cheap soak that gives you things if you ever run out, which is good.
Yeah, I find myself actually whenever I don't have an ally that I don't want to play, or that I particularly want to play, I'm like, yeah.
It's this grandma, not other grandma.
She's got a great rate, 2 and 2 for 2 on a soak, and then like just, she gives you like, 2 cards and a resource over the course of a game. You're like,
realistically, she'll probably pay herself back. Yeah, pretty easily. Yeah. So for reference, that's grandma, not granny. Granny is granny. This is grandma.
Yeah.
Big difference. Yeah. Also, Gloria's also grandma, but let's not worry about it. We got Waylay. Choose an exhausted non-enemy at your location and test foot X, where X is that enemy's evade value. If you succeed, defeat that enemy. Yeah. This card is good in someone like, say, Wendy Adams, which means it's going to be also good in Rita Young.
She's in the art.
She's in the art, and that could have been Rita in the art.
I'll argue it's better in, significantly better in Wendy because of the high cost of doing it, where it takes you 2 actions and the 3 money, and Wendy's ability lets you,
pass it.
Actually pass it,
yes. Oh, yeah. Realistically, like most of these cards, this kind of stuff. But however, it still works with Rita like really well, because you are probably going to realistically have 6 foot. You'll have like some sort of foot passive. Potentially, you can even have 7 if you have Pete and track shoes out, and you'll kill something big. Then we got Test of Will. Basically, just cancel Revelation Effect and exile it. Yeah.
I think Rita has a pretty solid exile deck.
Yep, definitely. All right.
Makes good use of a lot of them.
Let me take these 3.
Okay. We got True Survivor. This one lets you return 3 innate skills from your discard pile to your hand. Very strong in the Survivor skill deck. Gets back to Resourceful, which can get back to True Survivor. You got a little loop going there. Also gets back the 3 level 1 skills from Dream Eaters. Brute Force, Sharp Vision, and...
Expeditious Retreat.
Yeah, Expeditious Retreat. I think it also gets back Survival Instinct. Pretty sure that's an 8.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure too.
There's lots of really strong skills that you want to be playing as Rita, and True Survival will get you extra uses of them. We got our level 2 newspaper here. This is here instead of the level 01. Well, and the level 01 isn't because the level 01's garbage. This one gives you +2 while investigating. We have no clues, puts you up to 4. And if you would discover clues while you have no clues, you get an additional clue. This is just a nice little thing to have to pick up. Again, for like sort of that flex roll, you can get an extra clue on every agenda off a 2-shroud location. And it's not that your seeker or whoever your clover is couldn't get it. It just saves time for them.
Yeah.
And then we got Kiwis. This is like a pretty good item. And it soaks 4 brain, which is nice for Rita. Yeah, it's just a solid alternative to Elder Sign Amulet.
Just a nice alternative. Just nice and good.
Might be the most we've ever said about that card.
Yeah, I agree. I want to keep these ones going.
Yeah, we got You Handle This One. It's a nice trick to pass off all those really dangerous book tests from the first phase. Yeah. It's a green staple. Like, it's still solid in Rita. You just give away cards that... Like... The thing about this card is if you have like a Mystic on your team, it's basically a War of Protection for something like Frozen Fear, right? Because they're gonna pass the test. They have the brains. They should have the brain score to do it.
Yeah, and realistically too, you can just also, if you're playing like 3 players, you could also just give your goon an enemy you draw.
Yeah,
save a step.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Or if you need your action, like there's something you draw. What's it called? Stupid. Can't play assets or events this turn.
Dissonant voices.
Dissonant voices, and your seekers engage the enemy. You're like, here you go, bud. You can have the dissonant voices, and then I can play an enemy and deal with that weapon and deal with the enemy for you.
And then they get to do Book v Shroud. It's perfect.
It's
like
just
everyone's
for
happy.
good for maneuvering yourself out of
Definitely,
tough situations. We got Dumb Luck. This one is in case you actually fail. But when you fail, you can put the enemy on top of the encounter deck. It just does have some neat things you can do with it to like. Pick who assuming you or like the goon are the first player, you can like make sure that they get an enemy during the enemy phase, which again like is nice for Rita in some maps where you can dump them on top, guarantee draw that, and then evade and move on your turn. You can give to the goon to make sure that they draw an enemy instead of something that might actually be detrimental to them. Yeah. And then we got Perseverance here. This one provides 2 brain symbols like guts and keeps you from dying, which is nice. Yeah. Stunning Blow is fantastic in Rita, just as good as it is in other classes or other investigators. You get to hit someone, you get +1 punch, you succeed, you get to evade them, you get to do an extra damage with Rita Young. It's actually like they stapled Vicious Blow to it. Yeah. It's like extra vicious. It's a vicious blow she can play.
Yeah, it is. Man, that snake's getting fucked.
Yes, the art for that card is so good now.
It is, yeah. Like, you just see the motion blur on its arms. It's like, oh!
You had no idea that guy was coming out with the pipe.
I feel bad for the snake. He's just like probably thinking like, I can't wait to go like sit under a hot lamp.
That's why Yiggs upset. He's like, stop beating my children with pipes.
Yeah. Hunter, I don't blame him.
Yeah, we got Live and Learn here. It's just a nice generic survivor card to kind of fill in your deck with. You try to evade an enemy and you draw the off fail or whatever, you can be like, boom, I'll just evade him again and better. Yep. Nice easy card. Take Heart. This is a solid economy card for Rita where you can just dump your book test into a high shroud location to get some cards and resources. Solid economy for her. We got Slipaway. This is another one of our sparse tricks from the early sets. This one lets you evade and your book to your skill value for this evasion attempt, and if you succeed by 2 or more and the enemy is not elite, doesn't ready. It's a good way to lock down an annoying enemy for a couple turns and give both you and your team a good opportunity to get away from it. We have Impromptu Barrier. You can play it from your discard pile, and if you do, shuffle it into your deck after resolving its effects. This lets you evade. The chosen enemy gets -1 evade for this attempt, and if you play it from your discard pile, you can evade an additional enemy at the same location with evade value X or lower, or X is the amount you succeed by. This is another solid option for breaking those sort of evasion locks we talked about earlier.
Yeah. Also, this is one of the few times where I would be okay with playing this from my hand for these impromptu cards. Like a lot of the other ones, you're looking at like taking advantage of it by like finding a way to discard it.
Yeah, winging it's fine.
But even just like Because it also the reason is because it also deals the damage from Rita, right?
Yeah.
So just some nice things there. We got the level 0 backpack, which helps you find item or supply cards. It's in our Staples video. It's a very good card.
Yeah.
We have the level 1 try and try again, uses 3 tries. If it has no tries, discard it. And basically it has like the same thing as the upgraded one, except like the higher leveled one. Just you have a limited number of tries.
Yeah, if you have access to them, play this one first, and then have the other one just like as a...
Yeah. See if you like use more than 3 tries.
Yeah.
Because that's probably not going to happen too much.
If you're failing more than 3 tests, man. Like,
Yeah. We have corner, discard a card from your hand, you get +2 skill value for the skill test. Limit once per test. This is how you can get that impromptu barrier in your discard pile if you want to, or just like get good. At the cost of cards, which are not like as easy in Rita, but it's still a good time.
yeah, it's
Still a
fine.
strong card, yeah. We have Ornate Bow. This is how she can fight really well. You get to use your foot instead of your fist. You get +2 fist and deal +2 foot and deal +2 damage. You do have to knock another arrow, but luckily with Rita's playstyle, that is pretty manageable.
Yep.
Yeah. Just a good weapon choice for Rita.
So you can like shoot, evade, and then knock an arrow, and then shoot again next turn if the thing you dealt 4 damage to isn't dead.
Yes, which it probably is.
Yeah, most enemies die to 4 damage.
Yeah. We got the old hunting rifle. This card has a bunch of text on it. It can jam. It's like the baseball bat where the skull and the autofail does something bad.
Yeah, all you need is the +3 punch and +2 damage. That's all you gotta read, Justin.
Yeah, because it is. It's just basically just like insane damage. Also, as Travis said, works really well with sleight of hand if you're playing the printed non-tabooed version.
Yeah, this is one of the cards I think that I like more than it is good, but
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. Time Worn Brand, this is a 5 cost, 5 experience paddle. And you can spank snakes with it until the end of days. You get +2 fist, deals +1 damage. 5 isn't like a sure thing, but it can get you over like most 3 attack enemies pretty consistently on standard.
Yep.
And then you can also just add your brain to your skill value, which only I put you at 6, but like it's still just a weapon that you don't have to put like any time into.
yeah, it's just like the most boring weapon you can pick, but it's also like just good.
Yeah, just good.
It's nice and consistent.
Yeah. Then we have Alter Fate. Play during any Lightning Bolt player window. Choose and discard from play a non-weakness treachery that is not attached to an elite enemy.
It good.
It good. Yeah, it's good. It gets better once you like know campaigns more, because there's some where it's like not as good. However, its baseline is still really good throughout a good chunk of the campaigns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's always something for it to hit.
Yeah.
It's Rita's cycle.
Let's see what she got. She got track shoes.
Wow.
Lace them up. 1 footwear per investigator, you get +1 foot. After you move, but before enemies near your location engage you, exhaust track shoes and test foot 3. If you succeed, move to a connecting location. Yeah. One
Solid.
thing to know that I recently realized, and also I've seen other people also realize on the internet, there doesn't need to be enemies at your location. For some reason, I was like, oh, there needs to be an enemy that you kickflip off of when you go into that location. But no, if you just move into a location, you're able to keep moving with this card. Which explains why I wasn't hot on it for a long time. I was like, this card's not great, but this card's actually really good.
It is really good.
Yeah.
It's not like the auto include you might think it is for Rita. Quite often you don't need the +1 foot, or you can get it from somewhere else.
Yeah.
And the 3 money to put in play is a very real cost for a survivor. And for the movement, it can be nice depending on what you're trying to do again. But it's you already get movement from Rita's ability. It's still like a very good card for her. It's just not the auto include. It seems like on.
If I see a Rita deck without track shoes, my first question is, "Yo, why is this a Rita deck?" And then I say, "Oh, I see you like Rita. Okay, well then you gotta. I'm okay with that. You don't need track shoes." Then we have able-bodied, which the art he's throwing it the wrong way. The big monster's behind him.
There's a monster in there. You're right. Interesting.
So able body gives you foot and fist, depending on the number of item assets you have in play.
Yep.
Which is what you're going to be doing. This card, you don't just like, if you want to look at your item assets when you consider putting this in here, but still just more fist and more foot.
Yeah, if you're going to roll around with like your ornate bow, this card's very strong. And it's just generally good for the skill decks as well.
Yeah.
Especially it's innate.
Yeah. We have Meat Cleaver. This is one of the specialized weapons that Travis alluded to earlier. Basically, you get to, when you attack, if you have 3 or less sanity, you get +2 fist. Otherwise, you get +1. If it defeats an enemy, you may heal a horror. As an additional cost to initiate this attack, you may take 1 horror to have this deal +1 damage. This works really well with Pete Sylvester as just like an endless...
I probably wouldn't play it without him.
Yeah. Unless you have...
Maybe if you're playing on easy and you have the precious memento that heals horror after you succeed by 2.
Yeah, that would be the other time. Yeah, I'm not like Bryn loves Meat Cleaver, so I wish he was here. But I think with Pete Sylvester, it allows you to consistently use it. Otherwise, it's going to be a little bit weird.
Yeah, I think it's a good card, but I dislike it a little bit for the same reasons I dislike Practice Makes Perfect. So I talk about that in every video.
Yeah,
is that just how many deck slots it kind of takes up and the decisions it makes for you.
Yeah,
but.
We have Grizzly Totem. After you commit a card to skill test exhausted, the card gains another instance of one of its skill icons of your choice. This goes really well with the skill-focused Rita that we have been alluding to throughout this video. Drawing Thin. This card's really good at level 0.
Really good with track shoes.
Really good with track shoes, yeah. So when you initiate a skill test, exhaust, Drawing Thin, increase the difficulty of this test by 2, either gain 2 resources or draw 1 card. 2 things that survivors would love to do. They love it. This is really good with track shoes, as Travis said, because it gives you an inconsequential test that you can just like turn into money when you move.
Or cards.
Yeah, or cards, yeah. Really good.
Yeah, imagine you evade an enemy with Rita, and then you move with track shoes, and then you do the track shoes test at your new location, but you don't actually want to move, so you just like dump both your Drawing Thins into it, and then you get to gain 4 resources. You just turned your 1 action into an evasion and 4 resources for nothing.
I can't believe that got through as it was.
Yeah,
kind of wild. Like, you see things like Cyclopean Hammer and you think, yeah, that's tuned to be pretty boring. But like Drawing Thin was like, that's like...
Well, yeah, they were like failing tests is bad, but it's like not.
Yeah.
Same thing happened with Mr. Rick in this cycle, actually.
Yeah. Maybe they also played track shoes like I did.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. We have Belly of the Beast. This is a way for Rita to get clues. After you successfully evade an enemy by 2 or more, discover a clue that enemy's location.
Yeah, it's a fine card.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with it.
Tennessee Sour Mash. You can exhaust it to get +2 brain for a skill test on a treachery card, so it's like 2 guts built into it because it has 2 supplies. You can also, as an action, discard it. Fight, you get +3 fist for this attack.
Yep, this is a nice card for like item focused Rita.
Yep.
Especially with the upgrade version.
This card also is very nice with Stunning Blow. You can just like, when you do the fight action, you can just like then also evade the enemy, get some extra damage out of it.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, Stunning Blow is like good all the time, but
yeah,
notable
that
for
+3 is pretty. It's a good way to get actual value out of that +3 discard.
Grizzly Totem. It's the Survivor one, level 3. After you commit a card to a skill test, you get exhausted. It gains another instance of one of its skill icons of your choice. And if that skill icon fails, if that skill test fails, you get to return that card to your hand.
Again, very strong, especially with those Dream Eater skills that I keep talking about, because those require you to succeed by 2 or more. This makes that more likely.
Yep.
And if you do fail, you just get them back.
Yeah. Really also just puts a spotlight on try again, huh? Like, I know it's like always passively up on this one, but like...
Yeah, I mean, like, this does take like up an accessory slot, and try again doesn't take up any slots. Yeah. So it does have that going for it.
It's true. Travis, you think you can take these 3 cards? You're like, no.
It looks at bait and switch. I'm like, ooh, what? We got upgrade Tennessee Sour Mash here. This one, you get 3 uses on the guts instead of the 2. And then when you glass the enemy, if it's not elite, you get to automatically evade it, which is an extra damage from Rita. Great upgrade for her. And then we have our level 3 bait and switch. This commits for 2 feet, and we're going to learn about this one together. You get to either evade, and if you succeed and the enemy is non-elite, you can evade the enemy and move it to a connecting location. Okay, so you get to move it, and then you can either deal damage or move yourself.
Move to it?
Yeah.
Jason, I'm not done with you yet.
Or you can evade, and we'll use only a non-elite enemy connecting location. If you succeed, evade that enemy and switch locations with it. So this one is like an evasion built into the stupid card Dexter on it.
Oh, Ethereal Slip.
Yeah, mixed with an Ethereal Slip. That's not bad.
It's actually, no, I've actually played this card in a Rita deck I played at the start of the year. And it did something once, and that was enough for me to be like, that probably wasn't worth the experience, but I feel like if I knew the campaign better, this card could have a good home in Rita.
Yeah, I'd feel more comfortable with this card, I think, if it was 2 experience, but, like, it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They made it 2 because they don't want Preston to play it. They're like, no way. This in Preston would break the game wide open.
It's too good, man. And then we got our U Catastrophe here. This one's fast when you would reveal a Chaos token to reduce your skill value to 0 during a skill test, including the auto fail. You get a star instead. This card, like, almost lets you build around her ability.
Yeah. I mean, I still think
it's like a really good card.
U Catastrophe is very good, and I don't actually mean what I'm about to say, but I'm pretty sure if I saw someone play this in Rita and they did it, I'd be like, I'd cry. But it
so
does.
Beautiful.
It can. It's I can't believe I'm witnessing perfection. But it can do something. Like it can let you build around your thing, but also just passing a test when you were gonna fail, like that's good.
Yeah, this is just really good insurance for that, especially with your kind of sketchy stats.
Yeah.
It also works as like a really bad look what I found.
It does. It does. Yeah. All right, Travis, why don't you keep this going into Dream Eaters?
Yeah, sure. We got Scrounge for Supplies. Survivor staple. Get level 0 card back. Mm-hmm. Good. Easy Mark. This is a trick. Turns out,
yeah.
Really good. Arguably the best second best common card Rhea can play. Drawing Thin is pretty nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, resources and cards are things you need to play the game. This gives you those.
Yeah.
We got Jessica Hyde here. She is the counterpart to Pete Sylvester. If you have him in play and then Charisma and her in play, you will never die, and also you get +1 punch. That's pretty sweet. And we got Miss Doyle, who is a found favorite, but also pretty good. Only 1 per deck, just a little sad. You can always take her with the Flare. She comes in play, you get these other 3 cats, Zeal, Augur, and Hope. 1 goes into play, and you shuffle our 2 into your deck. And if Miss Doyle ever leaves, then you have to remove them all from the game. So they each have, they're all fast, they all cost 1 to play. And when they end your play, you discard the other 2, if you have them. And as an action, you can either exhaust or discard them. For Zeal, you get to fight with base 5 punch. And if you discarded Zeal as part of the cost, the test is automatically successful. And then you may shuffle Zeal into your deck to put either Hope or Augur into play from your discard pile. And the other 2 do the exact same effect, but for investigating and a book value of 5, evading and a foot value of 5. Oh, man. And then you get to shuffle the 2 that aren't them into the deck.
Yeah.
So this is like fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, it also helps you fill in that sort of off flex investigator roll where you get to roll around, you punch things for a couple damage and a fist value of 5. You investigate the odd time with a book value of 5, which I think Augur is the one that's like really valuable for Rita. But sometimes Hope does have its use where you can, dump it to automatically evade something. You get your trigger to move or deal damage to it. Like Hope does represent just a free damage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I like it. Like, even just, like, having Augur out for a while can help you can just get clues, which will really help the game during downtime.
Yep.
Yeah, they're fun, and they're also, like, not bad.
Yeah, I'd say they're better than not bad. I'd say they're pretty good overall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then we got Brute Force. This one is part of a cycle with the Expeditious Retreat and the Sharp Vision. These are sort of the core, I think, of the skill deck for Rita, because they let you actually do things. They're all max command 1 per skill test, and when they are committed during a basic X action, fight, investigate, or evade, respectively, they gain 2 additional instances of their symbol, so there were 3 in total. And then they have the text where if the test is successful by 2 or more, you get a bonus. Brute Force lets you deal +2 damage, so a total of 3, which is pretty sick. Sharp Vision gives you an extra clue. And Expeditious Retreat lets you evade an additional enemy
at your location.
Yes, even if you're not engaged with it.
Yeah.
Sharp Vision isn't here, but it is like pretty solid because it's not like you're not using on Rita too much. It puts your book up to 5, and that's still not very likely to succeed by 2.
Yeah.
But if you are gonna run like a super heavy skill build, I would recommend considering it because you can commit them to other people's tests too.
Yes. Yeah.
If your goon gets caught with their pants down, no weapon, you'd be like, yeah, just punch him, man.
Just punch him,
yeah,
Mark.
here's
Mark, just
plus
punch
3,
him.
and then he just punches him for 3 damage.
Yeah.
He just swings and his fist goes right through the ghoul, and he's like, oh, God.
I remember there was a time when you were like, Justin, just investigate. And I was like, okay. And then you're like, shark vision! And I was like, ah! Yeah. I really like Expeditious Retreat. In conjunction with Survival Instinct as well, because they basically like do the same thing, but just like a different flavor depending on what you need.
Yeah, they make that sort of play style very consistent for Rita.
Yes, yeah. So definitely, like, I think if you're looking at one, I would consider also working the other into your deck as well, because they're just like...
Especially how easy these cards are. They're 1 experience, man.
Yeah, they're wild.
And you're just like, I'll just put this instead manual dexterity. It's just better.
Yeah.
Like...
Easy choices.
I like this cycle a lot.
I do too.
They're very, very well designed cards.
We have nothing left to lose. This is a 3-cost event. If you have fewer than 5 resources, gain until you have 5. If you have fewer than 5 cards in hand, draw cards until you have 5. Remove nothing left to lose from the game. They put the right text on the card.
They did. They did it.
Yeah, basically just refills your hand and your resources. You don't need to have this be perfect. It doesn't need to do both fully.
Yeah, that's like never gonna happen.
Yeah.
If you're getting like 3 of one and 2 of the other, you probably feel pretty
that's
good.
really that's
You're
nice.
like,
Yeah. And if you ever have a situation where you get like 4 and 4, you're like, this is
like we're in the game,
yes,
baby.
yeah. I've just won the game with this card pretty much. Yeah. We have the Black Hat, a 5 experience, 2 cost ally. He commits for 2 wild symbols, and that's it. Just kidding. So, anytime you automatically reveal a tablet, a squid, or an elder sign, you may choose to use the following effects instead. So, the tablet can become -1. The cat takes 1 direct damage. The squid becomes -1 and takes 1 direct horror. And the elder sign, you actually get like a good elder sign with this when you have this out with Rita. +5, heal all damage and horror from the Black Cat.
Passed your test too.
It soaks for 3 and 3. It's
considered never dying.
If you consider never dying, yeah. Card's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very hefty cost, that 5 experience, but like great ally to have.
Yeah, it has 5 experience worth. Like, this is like one of those things too, like Pete's good, but you could ultimately, like, if you're sick of Pete, you could replace it with this.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have Nightmare Bauble. This card's wild. It's a 1 cost, 3 experience, takes up your accessory slot, limit once per deck. After it enters play, search your bonding cards 3 copies of Dream Parasite, which I'll get to in a second, and set them aside. When you reveal an autofail token, you can cancel that token when you shovel a Dreams Parasite into your deck.
I think this card's in the staple video, isn't it?
It is. I forgot to put the little thing on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that. This is the staple video. We talk about it there. I'm going to shut up. Card's good, though. Always use it. Don't wait for a better moment. I will say that right now. If you get an auto-fail, just use it. Even if it's on a basic evade.
Yeah, just do it, man.
Just do it, because, like...
How many times are you going to pull it?
Yeah.
If you pull the auto-fail more than 3 times in a game, like...
luck isn't against you, and...
you were just going to lose.
Yeah. Alright, Innsmouth Conspiracy. I can do these ones. These are pretty simple.
Yeah, sure, man.
If you want to talk about the blessed and cursed stuff, you can find our links to our relevant archetype guides down in the description. You can see a much younger Travis and myself there. Bryn, too.
Yeah.
Actually, probably just me, because that was probably distance recording, so you just see me.
Yeah.
But yeah, we talk about them there because the cards are just kind of like in their archetype.
Yeah, they're very parasitic.
Yeah. We have Breaking and Entering. This is a 2-cost trick that's really good in Rita. You get to investigate and add your foot to your skill value of this, so you get to go at 7. If you succeed by 2 or more, you may automatically evade an enemy at this location. This action does not provoke attacks of opportunity. So, what do you do? For 2 resources, you get to evade an enemy, and then you get to get a clue, and you get to deal that enemy 1 damage. It's a good combination of things.
It's a great combination.
Yeah. Mariner's Compass. So this is the fire axe of the clue getting for the Dark Horse build. You can exhaust to investigate. If you have no resources, you can discover additional clue, and during an investigation, you can spend 1 resource up to 3 times to get up to 3 book.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to, like, get clues consistently with this, but if you are doing the Dark Horse build, this can be a nice thing to have in your other hand slot. Maybe once or twice in the game, you get to dump 5 or 3 resources into it and get 2 clues off a low shroud location, so your clue doesn't have to waste time on it.
Yep. We have Butterfly Effect, 0 cost, 1 experience event. Playing when a chaos token with symbols revealed, you are performing an investigator, either commit a card to the skill test or return a card they committed to the test to their hand. Really good in this skill, Rita, we've been talking about. This can ensure that your brute forces, expeditious retreats, sharp visions hit, or whatever other skills you are playing with there as well. Yeah. Then we got Third Time's the Charm. This is a 2-cost event. Twice during this test, an investigator may reveal a chaos token. They may cancel it and return it to the bag and reveal a new chaos token. Wendy. We have Silas and Wendy, these 2 cards.
Yeah, this card is here because it plays very well with baseball bat and old hunting rifle.
Yes, yeah. If you really want to fish out that skull, you're like, this isn't a skull. I'll put it back. This isn't a skull. I'll put it back. Hey, there's my skull. Oh, I break my bat. I mean, also this card can be good, like, if you really want to hit a waylay, too.
Yeah.
Right? I think the card is actually pretty alright.
Yeah, it's tough to, like, because it doesn't, like, do anything. It's tough to justify putting your deck sometimes. But, like, the effect is worth the 2 experience. It's got a good effect.
Yeah.
This is, like, a card that I could definitely see myself playing in, like, with a smaller collection.
Yeah, definitely. We have a level 4 Dig Deep. You get
Nuts.
2 resources replenished at the start of each round. You can spend a resource to get +1 brain or +1 foot from either your resource pool or from the Dig Deep card. These are the stats you're going to be using.
To not die.
To not die? How about you just don't die?
Just guts every turn.
Yeah, every turn.
It is so good.
Yeah,
so
very
good.
Very good. All right, on to Edge of the Earth. Travis.
Scout ahead. Move lots. It's a trick. It's good. 2 feet. Jury rig. Stick it on your baseball bat or whatever. It helps you fight better. I think this is actually a very, very good level 0 card for Rita.
Great also on Fire Axe and Mariner's Compass, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, 0. Good in the Dark Horse. Yeah.
We got our Sledgehammer. This is a level 0 weapon that lets you... Basically, so the second effect lets you sort of mitigate your not-so-great punch at level 0.
Yeah, I mean,
don't use the top one.
No, yeah, it lets you attack it too, which isn't great. But it actually has this nice gameplay loop where you evade an enemy, and then your next 2 actions, you just crush that enemy's head.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. No, it's a pretty solid weapon for her, I think. We have Ethereal Slips, which is a trick. This is like half of that other bait and switch card I talked about for twice the money. Cool. Hit Me. This is a real fun card. You play it after you reveal a skill token or chaos token during a skill test, and then you get to like reveal an additional token and switch the minus to a plus. But for the skull, you auto fail.
I've played this card twice, and both times was a skull. It does not like me. I should never go to the casino.
Yeah, this card, I think of that, like, apart from Justin's experience, I think this is a really fun card.
Yeah, and I think like its baseline is that more often than not, it's gonna be half a lucky like baseline.
Yeah,
but
it's like
higher.
a bad lucky, but that's still pretty good.
Yes, yeah.
You got Talisman Protection. You can play this to not die to your 5 sanity.
Yeah, and you don't care about your spell slots.
Yeah. Yeah, that's about it. Sweeping Kick. This card was designed for Rita. It's got a trick tacked on at the end, just for her probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get to fight at 8, and then the attack deals +1 damage, and if you succeed, you get to evade the enemy, and you can, like, move or kick them for 3rd damage.
Yeah, the 3, like, it's basically like a Spectral Razor in her.
Yep.
Right, yeah.
For 1 experience and 1 money, that's a real great
And it
place
doesn't
to
care
be.
if they're elite either. Great card in Rita. Great card.
Yeah, fantastic. Like, it should probably be in your Rita deck.
Yeah.
We got Dauntless Spirit here. This is just a skill that happens to be innate and gives you 3.
Yep.
To either your brain or your punch. Both are skills that you are going to use.
Yep.
For 1 experience. Again, like, there's probably better things if you have all the cards, but a very solid card if you're playing with a more limited collection.
Yeah. Alright, we got Fire Extinguisher. This is level 3. You get +1 fist and deal +1 damage. More fist, more damage. And you don't have to, like, jump through any hoops for it. It's just always there.
Yeah.
You can also discard it to evade, automatically evade all enemies engaged with you. You may exile instead of discarding it, discard each non-elite enemy evaded by this effect. While that bottom half of the card, like the exiling it, is pricey because it costs 3, that can be used, especially if you're doing a deja vu. However, just like near the end of the scenario, just discarding it to evade all the enemies with you is like game changing.
Yeah, it's kind of like an upgraded cunning distraction that way.
Yeah. We have Plucky. This is 0-cost Composure, gives you more brain and more book. You can spend resources to get more brain or more book. You have to assign damage and horror to Plucky before you assign it to your Investigator card. But it still just gives you 3 brain and a stat boost.
Yeah, this is actually just a defensive card.
Yeah, it's basically like you're not using this to like... You can use this, obviously, to boost your stats and like even more. However, just fast... Get stat boost, get 3 horror soak is nice.
Maybe get to pass an extra brain test in Mythos phase because of it.
Yeah. We have Fend Off, which when an enemy spawns your location and attacks you, then you automatically evade the enemy and attach Fend Off to it. Attached enemy cannot ready. Just basically shuts down an enemy. And in the Spirit of Bryn, I would say if you kill an enemy with this, because of Rita's ability, you've won the game.
Sure, man. What this is actually very good at is like towards the end of those scenarios where you're like trying to move along quickly. This lets you you didn't draw the enemy.
Yeah.
They attack you once, and like not only do you get to make them not a problem, you get to move.
Yeah. I wish the card had like move into your location because like it makes it a little bit spicier. But it's still just like I've seen it in action. It's an impressive card.
Yeah, it is spawns at your location, so if someone else draws it too, you can use it.
Nice, yeah. We have the upgraded Sledgehammer. This makes this bottom action better, costs 1 more action. However, what it also does is it just makes the top action actually usable now.
Real, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have Ice Pick 1 and Ice Pick 3. Ice Pick 1 gives you +1 skill value to an investigation or a fighting or investigating. And then the upgraded one, the level 3 one, you can discard it to deal +1 damage to get 1 additional clue while you're doing those things.
I kind of specify if you're fighting. If you're like, well, if I choose to get +1 damage while I'm investigating.
Yeah, it does, yeah. They knew someone would, and then they'd have to answer it in an FAQ that never came out.
All the things that they choose to print on the card, the relevant information, this is it.
I mean, I am so glad they did it, finally. I wish it was on more stuff, and maybe it will be going forward, but it's just like a nice... I also just like how this game has like the verbiage where we understand if you're fighting or investigating. I just like that, you know?
Yeah.
It's nice and simple. Upgraded Ethereal Slip, any revealed location, swap places with that enemy. Then we have Burn After Reading, which is kind of bonkers. You can exile a level 0 to 5 card in your hand, discover 2 clues of your location. That's a really good baseline. Especially like if you do a level 0 and you just like get 2 clues and put it back
in your deck.
However, if it's a level 2 or higher, you're going to remove 1 Doom from the current agenda. Then you exile Burn After Reading. Really good in an exile deck. Like, really good in an exile deck.
Yeah.
Really good in a normal deck.
Yeah, like this, if you just have an experience or two laying around, head into the 7th or 8th scenario, you just pop these in your deck, and you're like...
Yeah, like, I pretty much, I'll say every survivor going into the final scenario should buy 2 copies of Burn After Reading, and then just, like, use it. Because, like, and, like, exile a level 2 or higher card.
Justin, what if my investigator died after the 7th scenario? And I'm playing a new level 0 survivor. Should I take in the thick of it
yes.
to take this?
Yes.
So that way I can't have any level 2 or higher cards.
No, you take this and then a level 2 or higher card.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I don't play my level 2 higher card. I save it for my Burn After Reading.
You'll do more for the game than playing your like there's no ethereal slip. I have to find an example off the top of my head.
Like, yeah, probably.
Yeah. And if you're playing standalone, just put this into your deck because it's kind of just broken.
It is a very good card, yes.
All right, Travis.
We unscrupulous loan. You like having 10 money and then like exiling it if you can't pay it back because you need 10 money. Yeah.
Yeah.
Play 2 in your deck. It's kind of neat. We got our 2 Precious Mentos. These are some more competition for the accessory slot that will keep you alive and living forever. They each, after you pass a skill test by 2 or more, you can exhaust them to heal a damage or a horror, depending on which one. After you fail a skill test by 2 or more, you can exhaust them to heal the other one. And they soak 3 and 3. We have Enchanted Bow. This takes up 2 hand slots and an arcane slot. And you can fight using either your brain or your foot instead of your fist. And get +1, and then the attack also deals +1 damage. And then as an additional cost, you may also spend a charge to target a non-elite enemy at a connecting location, and if you do, you get to ignore, aloof, and retaliate.
Card's good. It seems great in Rita.
Yep.
Yeah.
We got Bruiser and Crafty. These are 2 of the 3 cost talents.
I hate explaining these ones.
Yeah, they come and play with 2 resources that refill each round during a skill test. They each care about 3 traits, and during a skill test on a card with those traits, you can spend a resource, get +1 skill value, or you can spend the resources on them to pay for cards of those traits. Bruiser cares about armor, firearm, and melee, which is like fighting, which is good because your fist is kind of poopy.
Yep.
And then Crafty cares about trick cards and also some other cards.
It's so good. It's so freaking good. If you are playing a Trick Rita, this is like a good, very good upgrade.
Yeah, it's like very solid economy.
Yeah.
And also you pass your not your parlays, your pilfers.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is pretty important.
Very important. Because if you're going to put a lot of money into them, you might as well pass it. All right, what do we got here? Well, okay.
Return to.
My turn. Dig Deep, level 2. This one costs 0, and you just spend resource to get more brain foot.
And commits for good symbols.
And commits for great symbols, yeah. And then it's just one of those things, too, that, like, if you're planning to get to level 4 one, but you can't get there right away, just, like, stop here for a little bit. Stop and get some gas.
Yeah.
Upgrade a Rabbit's Foot now. When you fail, you search top X cards of your deck, where X is the amount you failed by. So just easier way to select the cards that you want. We have Oops level 2, which is good.
Yeah, you'll notice that Oops level 0 is not here.
Yeah, Oops level 2 is actually like I should play it, but I just have like the Oops 0
the
bias.
mental block.
Yeah, I'm like I see that art and I go angry.
Bad.
So this one is after you fail a skill test by 3 or less while attacking an enemy, you deal this attack's damage to any enemy or location. If the attacked enemy is engaged with another investigator, this attack also deals no damage to that investigator. Like, that's a lot of great text. It's really good every time I read it.
Yeah, it's a nice contingency.
It basically just says, like, it's like just lucky for attacking.
Yep.
Yeah. The upgraded Gravedigger Shovel, you get +2 fist. If you can remove Gravedigger Shovel from the game to get 2 clues instead, which is not nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We have level 1 Alter Fate, which is choose and discard from play a non-weakness treachery that is not attached to an elite enemy. I believe the difference is that this one's not fast, like lightning bolt windows, and does it cost a little bit more, something like that?
It costs 2 more resources.
2 more. That's a lot more. Holy cow. Yeah. We have the upgraded backpack, which blows my mind every time I play it. It's in our stable video. It's very good.
It's kind of wild, but they printed that.
Every time, like, I think I say this every time too, but every time I get my 6 cards and I'm like, I have to do that again, I get 12 and I'm like, something's wrong.
Yeah, that's too many cards, man.
We have 9 of Rods, which is a tarot card, which is when you draw a non-weakness encounter card, you can exhaust 9 of Rods, cancel the card's effects, shuffle into the encounter deck, then draw another. I think this card is notably good. Like, I think this card's good, but I think it's notably nice in Rita because it allows you to grab the cards that, like, other people can't deal with. Like, they don't want to deal with, right? Because you can then, like, you're like, this isn't a foot test or an enemy. I'll just try again, right? Because you're probably fine with most tests, but you can be like, no, this Rotting Remains is scary. I'll get rid of it. Or alternatively, like, this is a test that someone else can pass. I'll just try to fish out a foot test or an enemy.
Yep.
Yeah. Then we got Trial by Fire, 2 cost, 3 experience. Till the end of the turn, set the base value of your each of your skills to 5, or the base value of one of your skills to 7. So you can be 5s across the board, or Superfoot. Or alternatively, like, actually, like
Super Punch.
Super Punch, yeah. Which is, like, probably the realistic course to take here.
Yeah, this is just a nice card to let you, like, really feed it to a boss enemy or something like that if you need to.
Yep. All right, are we on to Investigator Decks?
Yeah.
Go for it, Travis.
Yeah, we got Pilfer here. There's lots of tricks here from Winford's deck, lots of green cards, but Pilfer lets you investigate with your foot instead of book. If you succeed, discard 2 additional clues to your location. This is, like, one of the flex cards for Rita. Yep. Very expensive resource-wise, but 3 clues is a lot, man.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got Sneak By. So only to evade with this action begins, you gain 2 resources and commits for 2 feet. This is a fantastic card in Rita.
Yeah.
Like, I would be surprised if most people didn't have this in their level 0 decks.
Yeah, because as we've been talking about how, like, Survivor doesn't have great economy, but what also this does is
so much action and compression.
It's so much. It's what you want to be doing, and then it also gives you resources, and then what it also does is lets you move or deal the damage as well.
Yeah. It's a lot packed into one card. We got level 0 Derringer here. This one is just a very solid weapon for Rita, especially since it lets you try again if you miss.
This is my weapon of choice with Rita.
Yep. Yeah, I would definitely include this in my Rita deck as level 0.
Yeah.
We got our level 0 Scrapper. This is the same as the permanent one we talked about in Dunwich, except you have to pay for it. We got our level 0 Test of Will. This one lets you test Brain 3, and if you succeed, you just cancel that card's Revelation effect. Notably, this one doesn't ever exile. And you probably, like, you only have 3 brains. Making a 3 brain test might be a little bit tough, but there are going to definitely be tests or where making a brain 3 test is preferable to just doing what the card says. Yeah. Right? You're willing to take that chance. And you're probably playing cards to boost your brain anyway. Something like Guts or whatever. We got Cheap Shot level 2 and Slipaway level 2. And Pilfer level 2. I'm going to talk about these all at the same time because they do the same thing. Basically. So the upgrade is basically if you succeed by X or more, you get to return them to your hand at the end of the turn.
Nice, yeah.
Yeah, the Slipaway and the Cheap Shot do their extra thing if you succeed by 1 or more, and then you return them if you succeed by 3 or more. And the Pilfer is just succeed by 2 or more, you get back.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, she has a good chunk of cards. Upgraded Derringer.
Yeah, these were great for her, these Investigator decks.
Yeah. Yeah, she's really, like, great. And then even just, like, I'm not going to downplay it, but, like, Crafty and Sweeping Kick were also very huge for her, for Edge of the Earth. 18 Derringer, the upgraded one now gets you +2, you get 1 more ammo, and then if you fail, you either place the ammo on it, or the next time you trigger this round, you get an additional fist. Yeah. Once again, I love this weapon in Rita just because, like, you don't spend ammo if you fail.
Yeah, you get a lot of extra words, but what matters actually is the extra ammo and the one less cost.
Yeah, 100%. Cherished Keepsake. Honestly, this is also really good in Rita. It just now has soaks for 4, and when it's defeated, you exile it. Who cares, right? You're not Will Yorick. Will Yorick doesn't want this one, but like pretty much most survivors with 5, which are Rita and Silas, they want this card. Yeah.
My God, you could play this card 3 times for the cost of 1 Elder Sign Amulet.
Yeah.
Experience cost.
Yeah. It's wild. Yeah. Test of Will. This is the level 2 version. When Investigator location draws a non-weakness treachery card, cancel the card's revelation effect, then test Brain 3. If you fail, exile a Test of Will. This is a nice option in comparison. Like, basically with a Test of Will, you now get to choose the style that you want, right?
Yeah. This card is actually absurd in Dark Horse, Rita.
You can believe that.
Yeah, because you get the plus brain boost. You're probably playing Pete Sylvester for his plus brain boost.
Yep.
It costs 0 money to play.
Yep. Yep. It's very good.
Yeah, and you do just get the cancel the revelation.
And then if you exile it, you're probably going to be okay because you're playing a Dark Horse deck. Your deck is built after 3 experience. Like, you're like...
4.
4. You need 2 Petes. You need 2 Petes. Yeah, yeah. We have the upgraded Dumb Luck is after you fail a skill test by 3 or more less during an invasion attempt, place an enemy on the bottom of the encounter deck. That's a big difference. That's a much bigger difference.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, like the like, that's huge. It is. It actually is though. Like that's a big change. Yeah.
Yeah.
Upgraded Unexpected Courage. No more symbols. However, if it fails, return it to your hand.
It's just bare.
Not a priority, but like it's good when you need it. Once again, if you're playing Dark Horse, you're gonna run out of things to buy right away.
Yeah, if you have like the stuff just hanging around, the experience just hanging around, it's a fine choice.
Yeah. Level 3 Lucky is bonkers. Basically, it's +3 when you would fail a skill test, and you draw a card, and it also can be used on any investigator. It's a wild card.
Yeah, this card's probably tabooed.
Yeah, it should do something.
It should be like 5 experience.
Yeah, it's very good. No, they're gonna still release a level 5 Lucky one day, and it's gonna be like. I don't even know what it could be better. Like this is already really
so the
good.
same text as this, but also investigates your location, get like +1 of their skill test to the end of the round.
It seems sick. One thing as well, I have to just say, I noticed this when I was doing it, but Lucky was in this spot for all 3 Luckies, which I thought was fun. I was like, that's kind of lucky. Because I just take it in the order Travis puts it down most of the time. Yeah. Chainsaw! Level 4 cost, level 4, you get +2 fists and deal +2 damage to the attack. If it fails, either place 1 supply on Chainsaw or deal 1 damage to the attacked enemy. It's another great weapon choice for Rita.
This is the most fun weapon choice for Rita, probably.
Yeah, yeah.
Chainsaw on people is like...
Like, I'm surprised that... like meat cleaver deals horror, but you can just chainsaw someone and you'd be like, "That's great, let's go!"
Yeah,
just a mob enforcer, just and you're like, "I'm ready to rock."
Like show up, you're like,
it does kill the hoods,
and they're like, "Oh God!"
Actually, like that is very noticeable. This basically just says cut the magic racists up into little tiny pieces. Then we got Deja Vu. It's permanent. Basically, this is what makes the exile archetype now an archetype.
Yeah,
where you can replace. Up to 3 cards, reducing their cost by 1 each that you exiled.
Yeah, I would take the opportunity to talk about Deja Vu a little bit here,
sure.
Where like when you want to buy it mostly. Mm-hmm. So yeah, like you probably want either you can buy it if you feel happy with your level 0 deck, you just buy it first.
Yeah.
Because like in your mind, you do want to have. It makes sense to want to have exile cards before you buy it, but the more exile cards you have, they're trying to put back in your deck, make it more difficult to buy this.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? So, you can play cards that exile, but don't put a couple cards in that like can exile, but don't necessarily have to.
Yeah.
And then pick up your Deja Vu at scenario 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And then, go hog wild from there, but...
Yeah. For me as well, I'll also add my thoughts on this as... I haven't played an exile deck, but I played with someone who did play one. Mm-hmm. They bought it first, and a good reason for that as well is that survivor decks are usually pretty strong at level 0. So, like...
I would argue that, like, comparative to the game, they're probably at their strongest at level 0.
Agree. Yeah, because that's the thing. Like, with survivors, they kind of, like, they're like this, and they kind of just, like, go down in power over
You get, like, a little bump, and then it goes down, but the game also gets a comparable bump.
Yeah, so, like, it's one of those things that, like, you could probably survive. Most first scenarios now give about 6 XP at the beginning. I would probably prioritize Deja Vu, then I'd pick up probably a Flare. Like, I'd do something like that. Or the...
Yeah, you could
level 1 Test of Will too.
You could
as well.
you could pretty easily manage the first like 3, maybe even 4 scenarios of a campaign with like a level 0 survivor deck if you had to.
Definitely.
And do reasonably well. So
I do think probably one of the worst of that is probably Rita though, because just like her ability, like she is kind of like a rogue. That's not a rogue. That can't access most rogue cards.
Yeah.
But like you get someone like Ashcan Pete, oh my god, you're fine like for the majority of the
Cruising, man.
Like Ashcan Pete is like if this situation where you died in scenario 7, Ashcan Pete could come into scenario 8 and probably do okay.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, is it deck time? It's deck time.
Yeah, so this is as always like the most boring Rita Young deck you could come up with. Actually not entirely true, but we got our Derringers, we got our Peak Cleaver, and we got our baseball bat for weapons. We're playing 5 weapons in addition to backpacks, because that's the thing we're trying to do is like hit enemies.
Yeah.
It's definitely a fire slanted Rita as opposed to like sort of the strictly flex thing we talked about earlier. But we've got Rabbit's Foot for our necklace slot. We've got our Tennessee Sour Mashes to help out with the Mythos phase. We have a singleton copy of Track Shoes because we only have one anyway, so. And it's not necessary to the deck working. Emergency Cash gives us money. We are playing a singleton copy from Promptu Barrier. Probably mostly just as flex, or just like as filler, because we had 1 copy of Track Shoes. We got our Luckies, our Scrounge for Supplies, our Guts, our Resourcefuls. All just like great cards you're going to find in a ton of Survivor decks. Sneak Buys, great card for Rita as discussed previously. Waylay is a good way at level 0 to bonk some of those tougher enemies, and our survival instincts that we talked about being so strong earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a deck that can go a lot of different ways. You can lean harder into the fighting style, get upgrade weapons and stuff like that. You can sort of pivot into the skill-based thing. You already have your Guts, your Resourceful, and your survival instincts as your they're all innate skills. Go well with True Survivor. You could pick up some of the higher level green tricks if you wanted to, if you need to get clues or whatever. Yeah, as always, just a nice, easy starting point that has a lot of flexibility. Yeah,
you can give also, these are good decks you can give to like a newer player too. Like, and just be like, if you want to play with the whole collection. It's just a nice, simple Rita Young deck.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, we've done it.
Yeah.
Another expanded guide in the books. We only have like 20 more to go. It's a lot. But we'll get there eventually.
Just go back to them weekly.
I mean, once we're done our limited collection playthrough, we probably can just do one every week.
Yeah, probably.
I think the next one, it might be Parallel Roland, but I haven't played him yet, so I might like push him back 1 cycle and just...
Oh my god.
Just so I can play him.
Yeah, okay.
Just to have some insight on the character. I saw you. He does play those fast, right?
Sometimes, yeah.
See, look, I know the character.
He also gets them 0 to 3.
Does he get inside 0 to 3? Good. Look at that. Look at him go. He seems fun, but maybe he'll next time. Otherwise, he's gonna be some other guardian. For people who are probably wondering as well, we're not gonna be doing in future expanded guides because Scarlet Keys are starting to come out. We're not gonna be adding them to this. This is just gonna stay Edge of the Earth. But we do have plans on how to...
We're not going to be adding the Scarlet Keys into these videos. We're not going to redo them all. We will do similar videos for the Scarlet Keys Investigators.
Yeah, exactly. And the Scarlet Keys Investigators are going to be included in this, and they're also going to get new player guides. But what we're going to do instead, I think Travis and I briefly talked about this, and I don't know if the plan has changed. We're going to do it by box. So Scarlet Keys cards for the Dunwich Legacy Investigator, something like that.
Yeah, probably do them by color.
Yeah.
Because talking about 200 cards, and it's that'd be and which investigators complete each time. That's like a 4-hour video, man.
That is a 4-hour video. And I know YouTube would want that, but we don't want that.
It's like a stream day.
It is. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Have a good one, and as always, GG's.